Hello, this is Opinion Radar. If you're anything like me, you're always on the lookout for small but mighty tools that make everyday tasks just a little easier without breaking the bank. Today, we're diving into something that might seem simple at first glance, but has been making quiet but meaningful waves in my daily routine: the EQUIPTZ Spring Clamps. I first picked these up on a whim, needing a quick solution for a backyard project, and honestly, they've stuck around far longer than expected. They're not flashy or high-tech, but there's something refreshing about a tool that does exactly what it promises: no fuss. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through where these clamps shine, where they fall short, and whether they're worth adding to your own collection of go-to gear. Let's get into it. Let me tell you, these EQUIPTZ spring clamps are one of those tools that just quietly become indispensable once they're in your garage, workshop, or even living space. Right out of the pack, what stands out is their build quality: solid, with a spring tension that feels strong without being overkill. The 3-inch jaw opening might not sound like much, but it's surprisingly versatile. I've used them for everything from organizing cables behind my desk to securing a tarp over delicate plants during frost season. The rust-free construction is a huge perk, especially if, like me, you've had metal clamps corrode after just one outdoor season. The plastic body keeps things lightweight and weather-resistant, and the non-detachable jaw pads are a smart design choice. They stay put and prevent slippage even when there's wind or tension at play. For the price point, just $13 for a pack of 4, it's hard to argue with the value here. One thing I've really come to appreciate is how adaptable these clamps are across different scenarios. I initially bought them thinking I'd use them for light woodworking and crafts, but they've ended up in places I never expected. For example, I clipped a couple to the edge of my TV stand to manage all the cords for my gaming console and soundbar. The deep mouth of the clamp means I can grab thicker bundles of wires, and they hold fast without sagging or slipping. I've also used them on pool covers, which is tricky because most lightweight clamps just pop off under tension. These, they stay put. Now, I will say I've heard some folks expect a 6-inch clamp to open 6 inches, but that's not how spring clamps work. The 6-inch here refers to the overall length, not the jaw span. That might be confusing at first, but once you get used to it, you understand they're compact but powerful. They're not for clamping massive lumber, but for lighter duty jobs, they're spot on. Speaking of power, the clamping force is impressive. These aren't flimsy clips that give up. When you apply pressure, they bite down hard and stay locked. That's great when you're securing a heavy-duty tarp to a chain link fence or holding multiple layers of fabric in place, like when I use them on a DIY backdrop for a home project. The yellow pads do their job well, providing grip without damaging surfaces. That said, there's a trade-off. If you have hand strength issues or just want a lighter touch, these might be a bit much. I tried using one to hold down a delicate paper model, and it almost crushed it. And while the pads prevent slipping, they could use a bit more texture for fabric-heavy applications. I've noticed that on slick materials, they hold, but if there's movement or vibration, there's a slight chance of shift. Not a deal breaker, but worth noting if you're using them for something precision-based like crafts or modeling. Durability-wise, the feedback is mixed, and honestly, I can see both sides. On one hand, I've been using mine for months now, outdoors and indoors, and they haven't cracked, warped, or lost spring tension. That's a win in my book. But I have noticed that the little yellow tip pieces, while generally sturdy, could be a weak point if you're constantly overloading or prying them open at awkward angles. I've seen and sort of accidentally tested that they can break off if forced too much, especially in colder weather when plastic becomes more brittle. It's not a common failure, but it's possible. Still, for everyday use, they're holding up remarkably well. And considering how many cheap clamps I've gone through that snap after 2 uses, these feel like an upgrade. The fact that they're rust-free also makes them ideal for poolside or garden use, where moisture would kill metal clamps in a season. One thing I'd love to see, an adjustable version. Right now, the spring force is fixed and it's on the stronger side. That's great for most applications, but sometimes I wish I had a lighter option. I've used other clamps where the tension was gentler, perfect for holding thin materials or pressure-sensitive projects. These are built for grip, not finesse. So, if you're working on delicate crafts like paper art or thin plastic bonding, you might need to be careful. That said, their strength is also their selling point. When I needed to anchor a balloon garland to a stand for my kid's birthday, I was blown away by how well these performed. I expected them to sag or loosen, but they held firm through wind and movement all day. That kind of reliability makes me keep them in my toolkit, even if they're not perfect for every single job. Overall, I'd say these clamps are a smart buy for anyone who values versatility and strength in a compact tool. They're not trying to be everything, just really good at a lot of things. From organizing cables to securing tarps, holding together craft projects, or managing pool covers, they've proven to be reliable. Yes, the sizing can be misleading if you're not familiar with clamp measurements, and the grip strength isn't ideal for everyone. But for the average user, these strike a solid balance between performance and price. I've recommended them to a couple of friends already, and I'd buy them again. They're not flawless, but few tools are. What matters is that they do what they promise, and they do it well. For $13, that's a win in my book. If these EQUIPTZ spring clamps have earned a spot in your toolkit, don't let them hold on tighter than your commitment to this channel. Hit like and subscribe. Every clamp counts, and so does every one of you. Stay locked in for more honest reviews that keep things tight, organized, and above all real.